In the 1950s to 1970s, after Sunday dinner, Grandma would bring out desserts that only she knew how to make. Using only flour, butter, and water, she created sweet treats that made everyone want to stay at the table. From Lane cake to lemon icebox pie to banana pudding, these flavors made the kids want to hug Grandma and lick the bowl clean. Today, let's explore 30 forgotten desserts that only Southern grandmas used to make after Sunday dinner. Anyone raised here in the South knows that chess pie was the very soul of those Sunday afternoons. The ingredients were surprisingly simple: eggs, sugar, and butter, all beaten till they were smooth as silk, and then secretly spiced up with a touch of vinegar or lemon juice to perfectly balance that sweetness. The real secret, honey, lay in the tablespoon of cornmeal your mama learned to add from your grandma. That humble cornmeal created a custard filling that was both smooth and had a subtle, refined grittiness, setting it worlds apart from any other pie. Once baked, the top of the pie would be glossy and brittle, almost like a thin candy crust, and oh, the kitchen would be swimming in the scent of caramelized sugar and melted butter. When eaten, you could dust it with powdered sugar, or sometimes it was perfect just plain. Southern families just adored chess pie for its simplicity and ease. Every ingredient was right there in the pantry, making it easy for those resourceful grandmamas to whip up anytime, even during hard times. Nowadays, folks go searching for complicated pies loaded with fancy nuts and imported chocolate. But chess pie reminds us that with just the most basic ingredients, you can still craft a truly exceptional flavor. If chess pie brings a modest elegance, then buttermilk pie is that classic Southern pie, humble yet unforgettable from the very first bite. That crust, golden and crisp around the edges, cradles a custard filling smooth as silk, making you sigh with contentment. The filling is a simple yet flavor-rich custard made from sugar, melted butter, fresh eggs, creamy buttermilk. To add some real depth, your grandmama would sneak in a touch of vanilla and sometimes a pinch of nutmeg or a splash of lemon juice for a balancing tang, resulting in that silky smooth texture. This pie stands for reliability and practicality in the kitchen, because those resourceful grandmamas could always pull these ingredients quickly from the icebox or pantry. Even though it's overshadowed today by more elaborate desserts with imported chocolate and nuts, the quiet richness of buttermilk pie tells the tale of those old kitchens where love and thriftiness created something lasting. This was a gentle treat, not too heavy, perfect after a hearty Sunday feast. If you've never had a slice of Lane cake, you are surely missing out on a piece of Southern history. This towering, multi-layered work of art was often served at big events and was a true showstopper. It features 4 layers of snowy white sponge cake, extremely airy and light, using only egg whites to ensure the batter's delicacy and purity. What truly makes the Lane cake famous and so captivating is that rich, grown-up filling. It's a thick, sharply sweet mixture of egg yolks, sugar, butter, fragrant raisins, and shredded coconut, and crucially, a bit of bourbon or spirits to add layers of deep flavor. This cake originated in the 1890s and even won first prize at the Georgia Fair, cementing its position as a culinary icon. It is, in fact, still the official state cake of Alabama. Just like the character Scout Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird once described, its intoxicating flavor could make you drunk on pure happiness. While modern cakes often focus only on flashy appearances and baking speed, Lane cake asserts its worth through the skill and patience required to create each captivating layer of filling, representing love distilled over time. The lemon icebox pie is a bright and refreshing Southern classic for those scorching hot days, offering instant relief from the heat. This pie starts with a buttery graham cracker crust, lightly baked until golden and crumbly, giving it that necessary crunch to balance the soft filling inside. The filling is a rich, creamy blend of sweetened condensed milk, fresh lemon juice, and finely grated lemon zest, creating a vibrant sun yellow color and a burst of aroma that wakes up all your senses. The acid from the lemon reacts with the condensed milk, thickening the filling without needing any cooking at all. The secret is its simplicity and being chilled in the ice box, as your grandmama used to call it, before modern refrigerators came along. Some Southern cooks often added cream cheese for extra richness, while others stuck to just egg yolks and condensed milk to keep that clean, fresh, creamy flavor. The final topping might be whipped cream or lightly browned meringue. This summertime dessert represents warm days spent on the porch. And while modern desserts are often packed with preservatives, the lemon icebox pie is the perfect marriage of simple, fresh ingredients, delivering pure, satisfying refreshment. Now, this here is a rich Southern chocolate cake, born in the 1950s, a time when soda pop became all the rage and a modern fixture in the kitchen. It has a deep color, an unbelievably light, airy texture, and a profound caramel sweetness, setting it far apart from regular chocolate cakes. To get that dark hue and fluffiness, those clever Southern cooks secretly added Coca-Cola directly to the hot batter, creating an intriguing chemical reaction. The carbonation in the soda makes the cake lighter and fluffier, and the cola's signature caramel flavor enhances the cake's rich chocolate notes. An essential touch is the mini marshmallows sprinkled over the hot cake right after baking. They melt right into the batter, creating a lasting, soft, creamy richness. Topped off with a warm chocolate glaze dotted with crunchy pecans, this cake is truly unforgettable. This treat is practically a Southern cultural statement. We don't just drink Coke, we use it to bake. Even after all these years, this cake is still so beloved that you'll see folks lining up to grab a piece at Cracker Barrel. It's a unique blend of modern boxed products and traditional kitchen creativity, offering pure, unadulterated comfort. The Hummingbird cake is the belle of the Southern dessert ball, always impressing folks and making them gasp with astonishment. This cake boasts 3 dense, rich, and incredibly moist layers, carrying the warm fragrance of cinnamon, sweet tropical fruit, and rich toasted pecans. The batter recipe is a masterful blend of mashed bananas, crushed pineapple, both the juice and the pulp, and vegetable oil, which keeps the cake soft, ensuring that moisture lasts for days. Legend has it that it's so delicious it makes you hum with happiness right after the first bite. It's typically draped in a thick layer of cream cheese icing, tangy and sweet, perfectly balancing the fruit sweetness. Hummingbird cake symbolizes abundance and generous hospitality. It was often served at big family gatherings. While modern dishes lean toward minimalism and less sugar, Hummingbird cake is an affirmation of elaborate value and complex flavor, representing those festive moments and the joy of family togetherness. If these desserts remind you all of Grandma's warm kitchen or those sweet Sunday evenings with family, then don't forget to hit that hype button so we can hold on to those childhood flavors together. If your family had a fig tree, you'll surely remember the sticky feeling of picking those figs under the blistering sun, then patiently stirring the jam pot to help Grandma. Those ripe, juicy figs, sweet as honey, their skin splitting open, were the key ingredient for that thick, sweet preserve. The fig jam was mixed right into the spiced cake batter, usually featuring cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, creating a deeply flavored and incredibly moist cake. The cake's flavor is rustic and rich, something you just can't find in other fruitcakes. Some Southern cooks added buttermilk to the recipe for a gentle sour note, helping to mellow the fig jam's sweetness, and often chopped pecans or walnuts were added for crunch in every bite. The cake was usually baked in a bundt or tube pan, creating an attractive shape that didn't need fancy decorating. When the fig preserves cake was sliced, the warm aroma of cinnamon and cloves would drift throughout the kitchen, making everyone automatically rush in to claim their piece. This treat embodies the Southern tradition of self-sufficiency, where nothing went to waste. Today, when we just buy everything pre-packaged, fig preserves cake is a warm reminder of the value of preserving and processing the harvest with your own 2 hands. In Kentucky history, there's a close, elegant cousin to the chess pie and sugar pie, a dish that offered pure, honest comfort. That's the transparent pie. The name transparent comes from the clear, shimmering custard filling beneath the golden, crisp pie crust, creating a captivating and mysterious look. It needs no pecans, chocolate, or elaborate fruit. This dessert symbolizes thriftiness yet elegance, as Southern cooks learned how to create an impressive treat solely from butter, sugar, eggs, and a touch of flavoring, turning scarcity into a work of art. When baked perfectly, the top crust might have a slight caramelization, brittle when you pierce it with a fork, standing in beautiful contrast to the warm, smooth custard filling underneath. The sophistication of the transparent pie lies in its balanced sweetness, not overly sharp like many modern desserts, allowing the flavor of the high-quality butter and eggs to truly shine. Nowadays, this dish has almost vanished from modern dinner tables, but it remains a reminder that even the simplest recipes require skill and a certain measure of love to achieve that inimitable perfection. Have y'all ever heard tell of a pie born out of desperation? Well, that's another name for vinegar pie, a southern miracle born from hard times and pure ingenuity. A genuine desperation pie. This pie has been around forever, with recipes appearing as far back as the 1850s, preceding both the Civil War and the Great Depression, when citrus fruits like lemon were mighty hard to find or just too costly in the South. Instead of giving up, grandmamas added vinegar, usually apple cider vinegar, to the mixture of sugar, butter, and eggs to create a slight tartness, which cut the sweetness of the sugar and butter. This dish symbolizes resilience and the ability to create sweetness when the pantry shelves were bare, proving that Southern cooks could turn the most basic ingredients into pure joy. While many folks today might wrinkle their nose at the sound of vinegar in a pie, those who grew up with it know that the first bite is a revelation, sharp, sweet, and comforting all at once. When you eat vinegar pie, you're not just having dessert, you're tasting a piece of the history of the Southern people. This treat reminds us of an era where thriftiness was valued over extravagance, contrasting sharply with today's habits of quick, readily available consumption. Banana pudding is the crown jewel of Southern dessert recipes, a multi-layered masterpiece everyone craves, tied to every Sunday supper and church picnic. The ingredients include homemade custard, sliced bananas, and, of course, crisp vanilla wafers. Your mama would carefully layer the bananas, wafers, and custard in a big glass bowl so everyone could admire its beauty. Although the first recipe appeared up north, it became a Southern staple in the 1920s when clever cooks started substituting sponge cake with vanilla wafers. This ingenuity became so popular that Nabisco printed the recipe right on their cookie boxes, making this dish indispensable. While the basic recipe is already delicious, many Southern cooks often elevated it by topping it with a layer of golden brown meringue instead of whipped cream, creating a light, crisp shell that encased the rich, creamy filling. The sound of a spoon cracking that crisp meringue was the soundtrack of busy weeknight dinners in the South. It's a shame that nowadays many folks prefer using instant pudding mix to save time, gradually forgetting the slow-simmered custard that your grandma patiently stirred on the stove. These tea cakes are not fancy brittle cookies or elaborate pastries. They are soft, round cakes that sit somewhere between a cookie and a cake, deliberately not too sweet. They require just simple pantry staples: flour, butter, sugar, eggs, and milk. Your grandma would knead the dough and roll it out thin, using a drinking glass to cut simple circles, baking them until they were perfectly pale gold, boasting a subtle yet never overpowering vanilla flavor. This was a staple Southern treat for over 250 years, passed down through generations like a treasured family secret. When you bite into an old-fashioned Southern tea cake, you're not just tasting a cookie, you're tasting history. This was the perfect little snack to enjoy with a cup of coffee after Sunday supper. They were often baked in big batches for those Sunday gatherings after church. The modesty of tea cakes is a lovely contrast to the extravagance of a complex layer cake, reminding us that sometimes the greatest comfort lies in the most familiar and simple things. This treat is an authentic culinary tradition, passed down not through written recipes, but through the feel and experience of practiced hands. In the middle of the century, there was a festive dessert recipe that caused a sensation called pineapple upside-down cake. This dish started with a generous amount of yellow butter and brown sugar melted directly in a cast iron skillet instead of a regular baking pan, creating a sticky, rich caramel layer at the bottom. Next, canned pineapple rings, a practical and inexpensive ingredient readily available year-round, along with bright red maraschino cherries, were carefully arranged on the caramel layer, forming an appealing decoration. This cake displays the vibrant, cheerful hospitality of the South. A simple batter is poured on top and baked, and when the cake is flipped over, the caramel and fruit run down, becoming a glossy, sticky topping that brings back nostalgia and feels just like sunshine. For Southern cooks, this was a practical yet deeply impressive dish, a wonderful choice for potlucks. The blend of the pineapple's tartness, the cherry's sweetness, and the caramelized butter created a treat whose mere aroma made the whole family anxiously wait. Even though there are many modern cakes today, this one remains a warm reminder of Sunday dinners and birthdays, showing the baker's care and meticulousness. There's a cake whose very name is a joyful dare, the Sock It To Me cake. This is a golden, buttery bundt cake, tall and proud. This cake was popular starting in the 1970s, famous for its intense moisture and more complex flavor compared to regular bundt cakes. The biggest Southern secret to creating this incredible texture is the use of sour cream in the batter, which keeps the cake moist, tender, and delicious for days, making it ideal for big families. The secret swirl inside is a mix of brown sugar, cinnamon, and pecans, which melts and lightly caramelizes during baking, forming a warm, smooth ribbon of flavor throughout the cake. After baking, the cake is usually drizzled with a simple powdered sugar glaze, adding shine and sweetness. What sets this cake apart from modern versions is the signature moisture that the sour cream imparts, a flavor that cannot be replicated by pre-made mixes, showcasing the baker's skill. Do you remember that mint green fluffy salad that every Southerner loved? Watergate salad is a retro Southern classic, a no-bake dessert. It's a fun and unique mix of instant pistachio pudding mix, crushed pineapple, mini marshmallows, chopped nuts, and whipped cream. The vibrant emerald green color and that soft pillow-like texture made it stand out on the church potluck table and at family gatherings. This is a perfect example of how clever Southern homemakers utilized 20th century convenience products to create a quick dish that was still festive and appealing. Despite being called a salad, it is definitely a sweet, fluffy dessert. A spoonful of this will have you grinning like a possum eating a sweet potato. In contrast to the natural organic trends modern society follows, this dish is a symbol of the lighthearted, unpretentious spirit of that era, where packaged foods like instant pudding began to dominate the kitchen, and it stands as a sweet legacy of that time. You just can't talk about forgotten Southern desserts without mentioning pecan pralines. This is the crown jewel of Southern confectionery, especially tied to the humid air and jazz of New Orleans. The praline originated from the sugar-coated almonds of France, but when those smart French settlers arrived in Louisiana, they replaced the almonds with native pecans and added cream to make the candy thicker and richer in flavor. Each piece of candy is a caramel-like, pecan-studded block, crisp on the outside, melting in your mouth, delivering the richness and deep sweetness of brown sugar and roasted pecans. The sweet, buttery aroma of praline draws you in like a mermaid song. Down here in the South, we don't just eat praline, we celebrate it as a culinary heritage. It is a sophisticated handcrafted treat, requiring strict temperature control and patience to achieve that perfect texture. This dish is worlds away from the mass-produced industrial candies of today, showcasing the meticulousness and skill of the traditional confectioner. Literally divine, Divinity candy is the South's answer to winter magic, a sweet, airy cloud that melts on the tongue. This is a candy that demands both skill and patience. Divinity is made from sugar, corn syrup, water, and perfectly stiff beaten egg whites, creating a fluffy, marshmallow-like texture, but with a slight crispness on the outside. Making Divinity is a delicate dance with humidity and a test of timing, requiring your grandma to have incredible skill to know exactly when the mixture loses its sheen and begins to hold its shape. The result is a pure white, snowflake-like candy, lighter than traditional nougat and with an almost meringue-like texture. Afterward, the candy is dropped by spoonfuls and crowned with pecans like tiny tiaras, making it an ideal treat for the holidays. This treat was typically made during the colder, drier months. Since high humidity could ruin its delicate texture, your mama would be mighty proud when she managed to make perfect Divinity candy, as it is a recipe that showcases the cook's skill and patience, transforming basic ingredients into an elegant and gentle sweet, a lovely contrast to other heavier desserts on the table. Boiled custard is a rich, creamy tradition deeply rooted in the Appalachian region, often served during the holidays or when the weather turns chilly, either as a liquid dessert or a festive drink. This dish is made from milk, eggs, sugar, and vanilla, cooked slowly over low heat until it thickens into a pudding-like drink or dessert, much thicker than regular eggnog. The cooking process demands constant stirring and patience to prevent the eggs from curdling, a technique every Southern cook mastered. Boiled custard is usually served warm, sprinkled with a touch of nutmeg or cinnamon, providing pure, cozy warmth on cold nights. Many Southern cooks recall making this on frigid winter days, sometimes adding a dash of bourbon or spirits at the end for a festive kick. While store-bought eggnog has taken over the shelves today, homemade boiled custard offers unparalleled warmth and comfort, representing family gatherings where patience was the most crucial ingredient for achieving perfect smoothness. The apple stack cake is a true Appalachian treasure, a deep and heartwarming family tradition. It's a towering stack of thin cake layers, almost like large cookies, with each layer spread with thick, tart homemade apple butter or soaked dried apples. Legend has it that at weddings, neighbors would bring one layer of the cake each, and the number of layers showed how much the bride was loved in the community. What's unique about this dish is that it wasn't eaten right after baking. The apple butter had to be allowed to soak into the layers over several days, making this a tradition that demanded patience and family togetherness. The result is a cake that is both tender and chewy, with a rich, rustic flavor of apples and spice. This dish shows the ingenuity of Southerners in preserving and utilizing local fruits. It stands in contrast to today's trend of ordering extravagant, expensive wedding cakes. If y'all enjoyed this video, please leave the number 9 in the comments below. Thank you kindly for helping us preserve those sweet memories. Similar to the apple stack cake, but even more rustic and economical, the molasses stack cake is a dish symbolizing the resourcefulness of Southern grandmamas. This cake consists of multiple thin layers soaked in molasses or sorghum, then stacked high with a layer of sweet molasses or sorghum spread in between. The longer the cake sits, the richer it gets, with the molasses soaking into the layers until it is smooth and soft when sliced, boasting a deep, rustic sweetness. This cake represents the community spirit. Sometimes, each family would contribute one layer of cake to build a tall stack for social gatherings or church events. The cake isn't overly sweet like modern treats, but carries the deep, rustic sweetness of molasses, symbolizing the hard work, pride, and togetherness. Molasses stack cake reminds today's generation about the importance of cooperation and simplicity in food, proving that resourcefulness can create sweet celebrations. Sweet potato cobbler transforms the sweet potato, a root vegetable easily stored through winter, into a wonderful dessert, distinct from the traditional sweet potato pie. Thickly sliced sweet potatoes are layered with brown sugar and warm spices like cinnamon and nutmeg, then topped with a crisp, buttery sweet crust. Unlike fruit cobblers, the sweet potato cobbler has a richer, more earthy flavor, providing a cozy, home-style feeling right from the first bite. Southern families valued it for its practicality and the nutritional value of the sweet potato. This dish is a celebration wrapped up in a golden crust, often associated with major holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving. Today, sweet potato pie is still common, but the cobbler version has nearly vanished, and its absence reminds us that we have lost a culinary tradition deeply connected to local land and harvest. Cornmeal pound cake is a rustic yet incredibly dependable cake with a signature texture. Instead of being light and fluffy like traditional pound cake, this one is sturdy, dense, and uniquely textured thanks to the addition of cornmeal to the recipe. It's a marriage between the richness of butter and the slightly rough, earthy flavor of cornmeal, creating an honest taste you won't find anywhere else. This cake was especially popular in rural communities where cornmeal was abundant and cheaper than refined flour. The cake kept well for days, making it a convenient dessert to take when visiting neighbors or for a picnic. Cornmeal pound cake is a dessert that showcases the resourcefulness and thriftiness of Southern cooks, reminding us that everyday ingredients can become treasured items when prepared with love and skill. It might sound strange to modern ears, but potato candy was a hugely popular and beloved recipe during tough times, a testament to the creativity of Southern grandmamas in turning basic food into something special. This candy is made from simple mashed potatoes, often cold leftovers from Sunday dinner, mixed with powdered sugar until it forms a pliable, soft, and easy-to-roll dough. This dough is then rolled into a thin layer, spread with peanut butter on top, and tightly rolled up like a little rug. Finally, it's sliced into attractive pinwheels, showing off the swirl of peanut butter and potato. Potato candy is an affordable sweet, utilizing ingredients you always had on hand, and is proof of ingenuity in transforming something seemingly savory into a wonderful dessert. This treat brings back nostalgia for days when thriftiness was essential, but joy was always found. This was an elegant, delicious staple at church potlucks and more formal family gatherings. Southern cooks mixed eggs, milk, sugar, and shredded coconut to make the golden, fragrant custard filling. The coconut adds both natural sweetness and a pleasant, chewy texture, transforming a simple custard pie into a memorable dish. Families often kept their recipes secret, adding small touches like a sprinkle of nutmeg or lemon zest to create their own unique flavor. Coconut custard pie symbolizes celebration and thoughtfulness, with its rich filling baked in a crisp crust. Although modern coconut cream pie is still popular, the traditional custard version has nearly vanished, leaving a quiet void in the cultural memory of cherished desserts, reminding us of the harmonious blend of richness and the coconut's natural sweetness. Apple Brown Betty is an incredibly resourceful dessert, turning scraps and leftovers into a heartwarming treat, utilizing stale leftover bread, often bread that was a bit hard and no longer good to eat fresh. Waste not, want not used to be a guiding philosophy in the Southern kitchen. Sliced apples are layered alternately with buttery breadcrumbs, brown sugar, and warm spices like cinnamon and nutmeg, then baked until the apples melt into softness and the breadcrumbs turn crisp and golden. This dish was highly valued for its economy and practicality while providing absolute comfort on chilly days, often served warm with a dollop of fresh cream. Apple Brown Betty is proof of resilience, teaching children not to waste food and transforming scarcity into a warm culinary delight, a classic forgotten in the age of convenience. Today, Apple Brown Betty is a reminder of how ingenuity created unforgettable memories, contrasting with how often we throw away leftovers without a second thought. Rice. Pudding is a dish that turns leftovers into comfort, proving that even yesterday's cold rice could become something special and satisfying. The rice is slowly baked with milk, eggs, sugar, and warm spices like cinnamon or nutmeg until it sets into a soft, creamy custard. This dessert taught Southern children the crucial lesson of not wasting food. Raisins were usually added for natural sweetness and chewiness. Rice pudding is filling, affordable, and is the lesson in not wasting food that Southern cooks taught their children and grandchildren. This dish carries the flavor of tradition and practicality. Rice pudding proves that practicality can create sweetness, in stark contrast to modern desserts that often require starting from scratch with fresh, expensive ingredients, highlighting the value of thriftiness. Blackberry jam cake is a richly spiced dessert, a combination of traditional cake and homemade fruit jam. This cake is a magnificent expression of extending the summer harvest into the winter months. The cake is kept moist by homemade blackberry jam stirred directly into the batter, creating a deep fruit flavor and lasting moisture. The batter is heavily seasoned with warm spices like cloves, cinnamon, and nutmeg, creating a complexity of flavor that goes far beyond the simplicity of the recipe. Cooks then usually topped it with a simple cream cheese or caramel frosting. Blackberry jam cake is a comforting dessert, yet special enough to be the centerpiece of Sunday supper. It is a heartwarming story of flavor preservation and the resourcefulness of Southerners when turning wild berries into a sweet masterpiece. These simple desserts weren't just a sweet taste after supper. They were a piece of the soul of the Old South, where love, faith, and sharing were always folded into every single pie and cake. If you felt that warmth remembering those old times, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next nostalgic tales. And y'all go on and watch our next video, 30 Forgotten Poor Meals Our Grandparents Ate to Survive, to better understand how our folks turned those hard times into unforgettable memories.